limits.
He's flashing the lights.
Und einer geht fliegen.
And he spins.
It's the weekend, and time for races 11 and 12.
It's a really technical circuit, lots of fast corners, slow corners.
Race time at the Lausitzring, a track where things really get down to business. Lots to do, turning right and turning left. To the right, to the left, and then counterclockwise. Also required windshield wipers. Saturday brought lousy weather. The day before, however, was still rain-free. That was fortunate since manual work outdoors was the order of the day. Vital precision work in the Porsche paddock for the Walk of Champions.
Es macht schon Spaß, sich hier so diese
It's fun to look at this gallery of forerunners. It's not just that you recognize their celebrated successes, but also the people behind those successes. I must honestly say, good luck. We have had some very good drivers in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, and it's great when you get to be one of them. How about not only being one of them, but also being one of the champions? With 6 victories and 25 podium finishes, he became one of the champions back in 2005. A champion in the Porsche Carrera Cup, one of 27 different champs so far. Careful, hot stuff. There's lots of cutting, pasting, and photographing at the Walk of Champions. At the end, in the case of Christian Menzel, there's also an autograph. The J stands for Jonas Greif. He's heading into his homecoming race at the Lausitzring. Born in Dresden in 2001, he began racing go-karts at a very early age. I think it was on the go-kart track together with my dad. I think every kid first went to the kart track with his dad or parents. For me, it really ignited this fuel for racing inside me, like it was in my blood. I was really into it, extremely happy about it, and I think the very next day, Formula One came on TV. We watched it on TV, and that was all it took for me to be set on motorsport. From then on, I really wanted to get into racing myself. I wanted to drive go-karts, and you couldn't keep me off the kart track. I kept bugging my parents until I got my own kart. He was 7 years old when he took to the kart track for the first time. 6 years later, he was racing touring cars. My dad is Michael Schumacher's generation, where almost everyone in Germany was fascinated by racing in Formula One. He then passed that fascination on to me. He himself always had the dream of racing, and then we first did it together as a joint hobby. He then said, Jonas, the first time you overtake me on the track, I'll hang up my helmet and we'll invest all our energy in you so that you can progress. And now we're sitting here going full steam in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. It's his first season in the very fast one-make cup. At the start, with the number 44 on the Porsche, he is already doing fairly well. In Saturday's race, the 21-year-old finishes as the 3rd fastest rookie, his best result to date. Here's 3rd place. Here's Jonas Greif. Let's go! With the podium yesterday, I surprised myself in the race a little. I was extremely happy about it. The 100th race for Huber, my home track race, all the sponsors there, and being there on the podium, that was an extremely emotional moment. I'm still hoarse today because I celebrated in the car so much myself. Overwhelmed with joy at the race on his home track, in front of friends, family, and his sponsors. Exactly. I'm now giving back a piece of the racing experience and making sure the sponsors have a great day here at the track today. And they're all there to join their Jonas Greif for an exciting weekend. I'm incredibly happy to be sitting here at the homecoming race at the Lausitzring in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. In the 510 HP Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. Welcome to my homecoming race here at the Lausitzring. Long straights, fast corners, lots and lots of bumps, but we drivers still go full throttle, rain or shine. We make sure there's always plenty of action.
The action is guaranteed in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. For race 1 is Bastian Buus on pole position, Maurice Schuring P2.
Well, it's important to make it out of turn 1, so of course take it easy, but if a chance appears, of course I will go for it.
The rain is falling at the Lausitzring. There's a lot of water on the circuit and a lot of dirt too. The lights are off, and it's Bastian Buus who steps off pole position. He moves to block Maurice Schöring. You can see how difficult visibility is from the perspective at Larry Tenforder, but he challenges Maurice Schöring on the outside. Not a great start for Dylan Pereira as he drops back through the pack on board with Bastian Buus, and he's lost it into the gravel.
The start was good. I went out of the first corner in P1 and pulled a little gap. Had to be very careful as I'm the first person arriving to every braking zone, so I don't really have any reference. But I felt like I was early on the brakes going into turn 8, and yeah, in the end I locked up a front wheel and went off. It cost me, I think, 9 positions, so I went down to P10.
It's gonna be a long afternoon for the young Dane as he looks to recover from that moment. On board with Lauren Heinrich, the championship leader is running behind Larry Tenforder in 3rd place. After dominating the first few races of the season, he's lost a bit of his form. He's having to fight to get every point that he can and keep his championship chances alive. But it's Maurice Schöring who's leading the way. Larry Tenforder behind him. He knows how to attack here at the Lausitzring, and he challenges to the inside. It's Larry Tenforder alongside Maurice Schöring. You see Schöring just glancing to the side, but Larry Tenforder sweeping around to take up the lead. Now, can Lauren Heinrich follow him? Along the pit straight they come, and Heinrich has the slipstream in these wet conditions. He looks to the inside into turn 1. Maurice Schöring goes to shut the door. Heinrich to the outside, now back to the inside, and Maurice Schöring's back end steps out and he's lost it. Maurice Schöring spinning off onto the grass. The Lausitzring is a challenging circuit, especially in these wet conditions, and maybe it's inexperience, but Maurice Schöring rejoins, and a long way down the pack. He's got a lot of work to do from there. We're on board with Carlos Rivas now. He does have experience, but he's also made a mistake into the back of Jesse van Kijk. Both cars into the gravel trap. Kijk looks as though he's beached and he's not going to go anywhere. Safety car is deployed. So it's Larry Tenforder leading the way from Lauren Heinrich. Dylan Pereira has recovered from that mistake at the start and is back up into 3rd place. Rudy van Buren in 4th, and that was Lauren Heinrich's father waiting for the restart of this race. And here we go. It's Larry Tenforder who sets the pace. Heinrich coming close on the inside, but Tenforder still staying in front. This is going to be exciting. Lauren Heinrich almost pushing Larry Tenforder around the corner. Dylan Pereira also rushing to join this battle. These 3 drivers know each other well. They've raced against each other in several Carrera Cup races and Super Cup races, but the pressure is now on as Dylan Pereira looks to the outside of Lauren Heinrich. Pereira through to 2nd. Heinrich is not done yet though. He looks to the inside of Dylan Pereira. What a great battle this is. Now it's the turn of Lauren Heinrich to move on Larry Tenforder, and into the lead he goes. Dylan Pereira is also trying to follow through, so Larry Tenforder, having led this race, is now suddenly down into 3rd place. Rudy van Buren also getting involved. This is a great battle. Now Luke Hartog also there at the back of that pack of cars. This could go either way. You just know it's not going to stay in this order. It's Lauren Heinrich at the moment, Dylan Pereira, Larry Tenforder, Rudy van Buren and Luke Hartog. Now Larry Tenforder looking to fight back to the outside of Dylan Pereira. He comes into turn 1. He's made contact with Lauren Heinrich. Heinrich goes spinning. There's utter dismay in the garage. The Heinrich family can't believe it. Lauren Heinrich rejoins the race, but he's got all those cars that have passed him.
Yeah, it was a race of equals, I think. It was nice that it came to such a direct battle with my opponent in the championship. The fact that it ended up like this is of course a great pity from a sporting point of view, because it wasn't exactly fair. But until then, I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and I think it was a battle of equals, and both drivers can learn a lot from it.
So Pereira leads the way from Larry Tenforder and Rudy van Buren, but Larry Tenforder is going to get a 30-second time penalty for causing a collision. That will elevate Luke Hartog to 3rd place. Lauren Heinrich gets 7 points for P9. Pereira with his 2nd win in a row. A very smart move that brought the win.
I was P3 at the beginning, and there was a real battle at the end. I just wanted to stay out of it. I knew the guys were fighting for the championship there and wanted to take every point possible. They were fighting hard with each other. In the end, I was the lucky third in the battle. I just hung in there and was able to simply slip by and win the thing. Saturday's win goes to Dylan Pereira. Luke Hartog finishes third. Rudy Van Buren comes in second. That was a really cool rain race. That it turned into a podium spot for me is of course great. In the Pro-Ams, Jan-Erik Sloten again secures the win. The start worked very, very well. That's when I was able to overtake Kim. He was ahead of me in the Pro-Am. I basically just had to manage things to the end. Kim Hauschild takes second. Søren Spring finishes third. In the Rookies category, Huub van Eindhoven wins ahead of Lorcan Hannafin and, as seen earlier, Jonas Greif.
I made a little mistake on the last lap and lost 3 positions, but in the end, P1 rookie, I'm in the top 10, so all in all satisfied with today.
The award ceremony for the rookies after the race on Saturday. Somewhere in the paddock, you will usually run into him relatively quickly, often wearing a mischievous-looking smile and always donning those glasses. It all started for him back in 2016 with Legner Huber Racing. At the age of 33, he was the youngest team boss in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, Christoph Huber. Always thrilled to be part of the action and always emotional.
Back to the front then, Lauren Heinrich in the lead.
This is now his 7th season. He knows victories.
Versucht's außen herum, geht dann plötzlich auf Schmidt drauf, trifft den und schickt den vehement in die Leitplanken.
And defeats.
Und damit ist das Huber-Auto draußen.
It's hard. It's tough. It's tough. I thought I had... But it is from the defeats where he draws his strength. He then shows it to everyone in 2020 and wins the championship with Larry 1040. I'm really speechless. I'm overwhelmed with joy. Many more victories followed, as did even more podium appearances. He was the youngest team boss back then. Today, he's one of the most successful, a man who doesn't even like driving himself. But from a very early age, he knew he wanted to go into motorsports. He is highly emotional, extremely enthusiastic, and very humorous. And now, here at the Lausitzring, he can celebrate his 100th race as team boss. Here's to many more for Christoph Huber. Now I have to get back to work. I'll see you later, okay? 100 races for Christoph Huber. Yes, I've actually known Christoph for probably 10 to 15 years now. I don't know exactly. You would have to check the history records. For us, it is no fun to race against him. He always snatches the best drivers away from us and beats us with them. Of course, we fight this because we don't really enjoy it. Christoph as a person is a wonderful human being. He's someone who has a great passion for the sport, who really goes all the way and does everything to make it work with the team as a whole. I respect that a lot about him. I've had a great time with him and there are lots of great people working for him. I look back on that time with a big smile and can truly say thank you.
I hope for the next 100 races they win a lot, but we win more.
I wish him all the best, and while I'm at it, here's to 200 races. Today I just wish you good luck, keep up the good work, and in no time we'll be at number 200. This is Christoph Huber, 100 races. The trophy and the special honor for his 100 races, a grand award for the likable team boss. Even as a small child, it was always clear to him that he would one day achieve great things in motorsport. I started at some point as a fan, as a motorsport fan. I collected autographs from race drivers, and then through a job at Drexler Motorsport and a job at Legner Racing at some point in 2016, I became convinced I had to form my own team. Now we're here and actually have been since 2016. We're always one of the biggest teams, always up front. We're not always champions, but we're always up front. We win races relatively often. Looking back, that's actually insane, yeah.
Relativ häufig Rennen ist eigentlich schon rückblickend schon Wahnsinn, ja.
His home is the paddock. His other goals crystal clear. The basis of my team will always be the Carrera Cup. That's my great love. That's the championship I like most. It's also relatively relaxed in terms of format. Spectators can come in here. We have 2 races on the weekend. I've actually grown very fond of this format. It's very close to my heart, and that's where I want to stay. That's where I want to be successful. That's the goal. Here's to many more successful races. It's the evening in the paddock at the Lausitzring. The young drivers of the Porsche talent pool are allowed to race freely.
Today we are here at the Lausitzring with the talent pool, and we're going to drive a go-kart without a steering wheel and just with joysticks.
The left joystick is gas, the right one is for steering. There are no pedals or a steering wheel here. The electric karts are designed for people with disabilities. The Aktion Mensch project. This is a go-kart that even children and adults can drive who cannot use their legs for gas and brake. With the go-kart, they can, of course, also experience the feeling of racing. I have already driven around, and I must say, it works very well. After a short familiarization, it's time to get down to business.
I think it's a huge thing that this thing exists for people who cannot drive the cars that I can drive.
Karting with a difference. Here, it's simply a matter of seeing something completely different to support the project a little bit. They drive go-karts without a steering wheel with 2 joysticks. With the joystick on the right side, you steer. With the one on the left side, you accelerate and brake. For the young talents, it is still a little unusual.
Your thoughts really need to be concentrated on both joysticks, because one is turning, one is throttle and brake, and if you start only focusing on one, then you forget what the other one is for. So I would say, yeah, it's a steep learning curve, but in the end, it was really fun.
And how does it compare to what they usually drive?
It's not better or worse, it's just so different. But for sure, nothing is better than a Porsche, so yeah.
Once again, the fastest at the end is Bastian Buus. From the kart track to the table. Here, everything is already being put in order and made ready for the big evening. Then they take their seats, the talent pool drivers. The occasion? A little course in etiquette, rules of etiquette for the dinner menu. First, the kart track. When it comes to hospitality, everything is very posh with us here at Porsche. We do a mini etiquette course here for our talent pool drivers. That's also an important thing, that a young race driver knows how to behave when he goes somewhere with sponsors for a meal and sits at the table. So it's not that the drivers can't behave, but there are still a few things that you can learn here that you can take with you personally. And of course, also use it in the motorsport environment. We have now started with the basics, with the cutlery, of course, beginning from the outside and which glasses are which. For the red wine, there's a certain glass, and for the white wine, there is another glass. Now, we've just had the amuse-bouche, where we learned how to eat it, which was shrimp. Yes, very interesting and very educational. In the etiquette course, I explain simple table manners to the guys. What's important, how to behave, how to sit up straight, that you don't chew gum, how to eat, and the order of the cutlery, that you put the cutlery on the plate afterwards. They're just simple table manners. How to successfully survive the evening as a guest without being unpleasant to anyone. It's especially important for the young drivers when they meet partners, sponsors, and meet with potential future employers, team bosses. Of course, it's especially nice when the young people not only give a top performance on the track, but also at the table at dinner.
The basics are quite familiar for me, but it's always the little things which is really nice to be taught or remembered, how you can come across nicely as a good guy.
An evening with the Porsche Talent Pool. The Talent Pool program is of course extremely important for us at Porsche Deutschland. It's part of our DNA. A whole series of great drivers have emerged from the Talent Pool program. People like Mark Lieb and Timo Bernhard also started at Porsche back then. You could see where that would lead. They became very successful. In the current program, we have 8 drivers and Wolf Hensler, a dedicated trainer, a coach for the talents, who is also a former Porsche Works driver.
Also ich denke mal, da haben wir ordentlich Qualität auch an der Spitze, dass die Jungs da
I think we have a lot of quality at the top too, so that the guys can learn something. And you can see that it's working well. Bastian Buus actually took a maiden victory in Imola, but his partners Morris Schuring and Luke Hartog also managed to reach the podium this season. So you can see that promoting young talent really does bring results, and that the talented drivers we have do ultimately get their performance on the track. On Sunday at the Lausitzring, the sun returned, and so did the fans in the Porsche paddock. The drivers are ready for an exchange with the visitors at the Lausitzring, signing one autograph card after another. Big and very small fans had a great time and got what they came for. A lot of autographs were signed at this session. Plus, fresh waffles, so the race can get off to a good start.
Now it's time for the on-track entertainment with race 2 on Sunday. Yesterday's winner, Dylan Pereira, is on pole position. Schuring, Tenforde, Van Buren and Hartog. 4 Dutch drivers behind him. Lauren Heinrich only from P7 today. A lot of work to do for him. Lights out, and it's Pereira who moves directly to the left, staying in front. Larry Tenforde to the outside, but he's braking late. He locks up into the corner and he goes wide. Morris Schuring stays in second place. The conditions are dry here today, but we still expect a race full of action at the Lausitzring. Now let's take a look at the Pro-Am Championship on board with Carlos Rivas. It's vital that he scores points today, but he's got together with Søren Spreng.
We still have to look at onboard recordings to see what actually happened. We don't have those yet. But in the end, the result was that Carlos and I collided, and I spun away in the process and had to continue from behind. That was definitely not what he wanted, nor what I wanted. It just went badly. You just have to check it off and forget about it. Of course you have to talk about it, but it just happened. There's nothing you can do about it.
Rivas is in trouble here. A damaged front wheel after the crash with Spreng. He's going to have to come into the pits for a tyre change. It looks like Jan-Erik Sloten is going to increase the gap at the top of the championship standings. This was exactly what Carlos Rivas needed to avoid. Lauren Heinrich's already made his way up to P5. Meanwhile, at the front is Dylan Pereira, followed by Larry Tenforde, Morris Schuring and Rudy Van Buren. Bastian Buus is behind Lauren Heinrich, but our leader, Dylan Pereira, has already built a comfortable gap. It's looking good for a double victory for him this weekend. Larry Tenforde has broken clear of the queue of cars behind, and Luke Hartog is also rushing to join the battle. Heinrich is fighting with Rudy Van Buren. Both are so-called hybrid racers. They are successful at racing and also real racing. Here they are fighting for the podium though. Looking back from Morris Schuring, Heinrich overtakes Van Buren. This is now for 4th place. Can Rudy Van Buren strike back? It doesn't look like it. Another position for Lauren Heinrich. Now the hunt for Morris Schuring begins. Rudy Van Buren is constantly in the background. Any mistake from Heinrich and the number 57 car will be through. It's still Heinrich versus Schuring. Heinrich, the Porsche Junior, gets special training by junior coach Sascha Massen. Schuring is part of the talent pool and gets some help from Wolf Hensler. Porsche has great history in bringing young drivers to the front row of motorsport. In the background, another of the young guns and another of the talent pool. Bastian Buus now challenging Rudy Van Buren. He looks to the inside, out of turn 5 they come. There's been a bit of contact, debris goes flying, Buren goes wide, and now Luke Hartog comes through on the inside, and Hartog has taken both of them up to P5. Lauren Heinrich is still behind Morris Schuring. Heinrich needs the points desperately. Yesterday he scored only 7 points. Pereira is getting closer and closer in the championship, and if he can win today, the lead will only be around 30 points. Out of turn 5, this is the view. Looking back from Morris Schuring to the inside into turn 6 he goes. He made that look very easy because Morris Schuring has gone wide. He fights the wheel, and Lauren Heinrich is through. He takes the position away.
Working from 7th place, I made the best of it. My goal was actually 4th place. A podium would have been the dream. I managed that. That's why my title opponents couldn't make up too many points on me. Today was more about minimizing the damage. Now we're looking ahead to the last 2 weekends. It's now off to the grand finale of the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland.
Alex Tauscher is trying to gain position. He looks to the inside of Dan Van Kuyk and the two cars get together. Van Kuyk goes spinning. It was an optimistic move from Alex Tauscher. The gap was closing and Dan Van Kuyk's race has been wrecked. Tauscher continues on his way, but surely the stewards are going to be taking a look at that. The best rookie is again Huub van Eindhoven. He's in 9th place overall, which means he is 15 points behind Lorcan Hannafin, who is leading the rookie class. Back to the front though, Larry Tenford has closed in on Dylan Pereira. Can he win the race in the last corners? No, he cannot, because Pereira wins his 3rd Porsche Carrera Cup Germany race in a row. Team principal Ernst Moser is happy and celebrating with Pereira's father. 4 races to go. It will be a thriller.
2 wins here at the Lausitzring. 3 wins in a row. It doesn't get much better than that. A perfect start-to-finish victory for the Portuguese, who continues to be a serious contender in the battle for the championship title. In the Pro-Am's, Georgi Donchev brings home his first win of the season.
I'm loving it. It feels amazing. I mean, after such a terrible season for me, finally something good. Yeah, it was very good, and especially in this weekend. And the 101st race for Huber Racing. I couldn't ask for more. I mean, also I started very far back, so I didn't expect it.
Everything's great. I took home points for 2nd place and won yesterday. What more could you want? In the rookies category, Huub van Eindhoven racks up another win. In the overall standings, it currently looks like this. Racing in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland gets roaring again, next at the Sachsenring.